How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, good.
Get to know and like talk to Emily more.
I'm gonna take it slower with that. Stay coupled up, and that's the one you don't ask anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still open.
I am tired of people saying Jonah is the better option. Jonah is saying that he is giving Harrison time to try and get to know Emily, but he is looking at the long game. So his goal is still to go after Emily. So how are we saying he's the best option for Destiny when he's not fully committed? When Harrison came into the villa, he committed himself to Destiny and was all about Destiny to the extent that Carmen complained that Harrison makes it seem like he's closed off. He doesn't make it seem like he wants to know anybody else. He makes it seem like Destiny is it for him. So can we stop with the Jonah thingy, because I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think Jonah is it. I think Jonah is got a smart mouth, for lack of a better word, in the sense that he's able to tell you what you want to hear, and he's not able to deliver. I haven't seen him do anything that makes me feel like he's 100%, in it to give attention to Destiny. I'm not saying you should make a breakfast like Harrison, but at least I haven't seen them sit down and have a conversation unless we missed it somewhere. Well, we did see the conversations after recoupling, but that's all we saw. We didn't see them in the background like we used to see Destiny and Harrison all the time, even if they were not, their mics were turned off. We would always see them next to each other. They were each other's shadows. So I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Hi there. Thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button and turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island USA, Season 5, Episode 14. So the islanders are ready, they've had their drinks, and they receive a message to say there will be a recoupling and the 3 bombshells will get to pick first and then everybody else will pick afterwards. And there is a lot of tension around the villa. At the time, you could see Harrison and Destiny in the background. They were just talking their usual self, because they were attached at the hip. So you could see them like when they received the text message, they were standing by the fire pit with everybody else. Then they moved off and they went to the sort of little kitchen area. They were together. And then the 3 bombshells go and have a conversation of who they think they want. Emily was very strategic in how she picked. Yes, in the conversation with the 2 guys, she said, she had a date with Marco and with Harrison, and Marco was her first, but she's leaning more towards Harrison. And she says, she enjoys Harrison's company. She enjoys this. Her pick was strategic. I'm not going to even bother going into everything she mentioned because, in my opinion, she knew Harrison was in the strongest couple. She knew Harrison was in the most popular couple, and she decided to go with Harrison, knowing that she could hoping to get some airtime because of that, because she placed herself in that love triangle. So that's my impression. It's not that she had anything more in common with Harrison than anything else, because she spent more time with Keenan, and she was saying Keenan is her type. So for her to suddenly swing to the left and take Harrison, here's my opinion. I think she didn't want to take Marco because she didn't want to deal with the backlash from Hannah. And 2, she didn't take Keenan because of the way KK reacted when she realized that Keenan was interested in Emily, and the way she reacted when she kept seeing, when she refused for Keenan and Emily to have a chat. And I think this is why she left them 2. And then when it came to Harrison, she realized that Destiny was the weakest option. And Destiny was not going to fight back. This is my opinion. So this is why she went. She didn't want to deal with the other girls, but she thought Destiny was the easiest option to sort of take her guy from and not have any backlash. And that's why she went for Destiny. And I think the producers also encouraged her to pick Harrison because of the fact that Harrison and Destiny were very stable and were in a very lovey-dovey couple. And I don't think the producers like this. Plus, Harrison didn't seem that impressed. He seemed like he was being cordial, but I don't know whether he was as happy as people are making him out to be, because he sort of made a face and then quickly fixed his face, and then he went across, kissed her on the cheek, and sat down. And so I don't think he'll ever tell us the truth unless he's having a conversation with Destiny to exactly how he felt at the time. But as of the time he was chosen, he didn't seem that impressed. So Kenzo picks Carmen, and I'm like, oh, poor boy. He doesn't know that Carmen has really torn down a couple of guys in the villa. She went for Victor and tore him down until he left the villa. And now she's gone for Bergie. She did the same thing. And he is her next victim. I don't envy him. Unless she was hoping he would come in. Unless she knew he was coming in. Since they come from the same area, people have speculated that they know each other. And I don't know. I personally don't know. I I'm worried for him, but then I could be wrong. We'll see how they go. I don't know about their connection. I really didn't see that much of their date. Jonah stands up. He then says he like he's choosing someone who's sweet, someone who's honest, someone who's caring. I don't understand what he means that she reminds him of home. I didn't know that they came from the same area, or I don't know. Or maybe he meant that he reminds him of someone, of one of his siblings or something. I don't know, family member. I don't know. Do I think he's a good match for her? No, I do not. I do not. And I'm going to say why. I know a lot of people have opinions that he's the better match than Harrison. I do not think so. I think he is patronizing towards Destiny. Controversial. The way Harrison spoke about Destiny and her accomplishments, in the sense that she's got a degree, she's got a master's degree, and how she worked hard to get them, is different from the way Jonah spoke to Destiny about her qualifications, because he said, "Oh, you are," sort of. I know it could have been his way of talking, but I didn't like it because I thought it minimalized it. And then she eventually said, "I'm a microbiologist," and it's like you're that girl, you're that girl, and it's like it's totally different to Harrison saying to Destiny, "Oh, I understand you're a microbiologist. I wanted to be a surgeon." Blah blah blah. And then they spoke about it and how how many years she had to study and stuff. Even the fact that he was asking her, "Are you spicy?" This is something Harrison has been questioning her about, and he's been talking to the guys about. And people have been saying Harrison hasn't brought it up to her, but he did bring it up to her, because especially after the poolside party, when he was asking her, "Is this the first time you've kissed a girl? I'm trying to see how spicy you are." That he copied straight from Harrison. And I believe Jonah studied Destiny. He studied Destiny before he came into the villa. He studied Destiny. Listen to this. You're going to. I hate it every time I turn around and say, "Oh, I was right." He studied Destiny. He knew who Destiny was. He knew what Destiny liked in her coupling with Harrison. He knew what she wasn't happy with, or he knew what Harrison wasn't happy about in regards to their coupling, and that is what he's going to work on to try and be the best man. I don't think he's a good friend he could make a good friend, he could make a good sort of sibling like Leo, but he could never match what Destiny has sort of, or the type of relationship that Harrison has sort of offered Destiny, because Destiny came into the villa, she was matched with Marco then made it seem like they were on the path to sort of having sort of a committed relationship, and gave her a kiss, and then the next morning woke up and said, "No, I want to explore other connections." Harrison came in from word go. From the moment he saw her, he bypassed Jasmine as though she was invisible and went straight for Destiny. And from then on, apparently, according to Jasmine in her interview that she did with After the Sun, she was saying that Harrison would always be either holding Destiny's hands, he'd be caressing her, he'd be doing something physical with Destiny. He'd be very attentive to Destiny when he was speaking to her. So she knew Harrison was really interested in Destiny. I think Jonah is seizing the opportunity just the same way that Emily seized the opportunity, because they both know that Harrison and Destiny as a couple are very popular with the fans, and they've decided to sort of slide in there and get some of that popularity to go with them to whatever couple they end up in when Harrison and Destiny resolve whatever issues they have. But I don't think this is it for them. I think Emily and Jonah have seized the opportunity, and they've decided to divide and conquer. That way they can, if they don't get into a successful couple, at least they'll always be known as the person who broke up a very successful couple on Love Island. That's my impression. Next up is Anna. She stands up and she reveals that she can't pick any of the guys because of her relationships with them. So because she doesn't have a romantic pairing, she will be going home. I think this was evident because she was saying she doesn't. When the girls were in the locker room with Hannah, she was saying, "I don't know who I'm going to pick. I really don't know. If one of the new guys doesn't pick me, I don't know who I'm going to pick." And I think that was a blow to her ego, because when she came into the villa, none of the boys picked her. She ended up with Bergie, and then eventually Leo picked her, and now again nobody's picked her. I think this is why she's gone home. Hannah is heartbroken because they've become very close, and I'm sad for her, but it is what it is. Hannah stands up. She picks up Marco, which she was always going to do because they're in a couple and they seem happy. Am I surprised that KK picked Keenan? Not really. I think she should have shocked him and picked up Bergie. I think she should have shocked him because he's been after every person that is sort of paid him attention. When Cassie was paying him attention, he was about Cassie, but he wanted Cassie to put a lot of pressure. When she didn't put pressure, he then took a step back. Now with Emily, he's been chatting with her. I think he hoped Emily would pick him and was surprised when Emily picked Harrison. But hey, it is what it is. So Cassie is next up to pick, and she says that she was in a coupling with this guy before, and then she had to they kept gravitating towards one another, and she had to take him from Anna, and she feels bad. And Marco is why did she have to say that? That's the truth, though. That's the truth. I think she had to say it because people kept making her feel bad for going back to Leo, forgetting that she was the first person who was in a coupling with Leo. So I give her credit for saying, you all might not be happy with how things have ended up, but at the end of the day, Leo and I were together. We broke up. I broke off with Leo. I broke things off with Leo. Leo tried things with Anna. They didn't work out. He came back to me, and we are working out. So please, can you stop making me the villain in Anna's story? That's the impression that I got. Bergie, obviously, he didn't have anyone to couple up with because Anna was going home, and people were sort of sad and happy for Anna that she was leaving because she was, all over the place, and she was entertainment for the villa. She wanted to say goodbye to KK first because apparently she's the one who did her hair. She said goodbye to everybody else. I think I saw what triggered Harrison because I first noticed it at the fire pit when they were sort of recoupling. Jonah sat with his hand on Destiny's lap, and then when all the islanders stood up, they hugged. Harrison didn't hug Emily. He was respectful. When Anna left, Jonah and Destiny hugged again. And I think the first time Harrison was standing by the kitchen area with Emily having a chat. And then they went and they sat down, had a chat, and where they were talking about how do you like to sleep, big spoon, little spoon, and whatever that conversation was. Which makes sense if people are going to be sharing a bed. You want to be respectful of the other person because they're different sexes, and you don't want to do anything that might sort of offend someone or cause someone grief. So I don't get why people were saying Harrison moved fast. I don't think so. I think most of the things that Harrison has done is because his ego has been bruised. And also, I understand what he meant that he said he's happy that Destiny was picked as well because that softened the blow. Because after Marco was picked by Hannah, I remember when Destiny was picked by Harrison, she said, she was very nervous and she felt some type of way because this was the second time she was going to have to stand there and either be chosen or not chosen. And so she was anxious about that. And I think this is what Harrison was trying to say. He wasn't trying to say he's more important than Destiny, but he was saying that I'm happy that even though I have been chosen and I have the opportunity to explore this connection, I'm happy that Destiny has not just been left standing there with no one picking her. I'm happy that someone has actually picked her and sort of given her that importance to make it known that she is someone who's valuable. She is someone who is worthy of being picked. That's the impression that I get. I don't think he was saying that he's happy that Jonah picked as a demeaning way. I think he meant it sort of makes it better for him to sort of move on or try and explore a connection because he doesn't feel guilty in the sense that, okay, somebody picked me, what about Destiny? Because otherwise Destiny would have had to settle and would have been left in the same position as Anna was. Because if for example, let's say Jonah had picked somebody else, that would have meant that Destiny 9 times out of 10 should have ended up with Bergie. And I don't think Harrison would have been okay with that. I don't think he'd have been okay with that. And so I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, Destiny has a chat with Jonah. I don't like Jonah for Destiny. I know they have similarities, and I know they have a lot in common because they come from the same country. They have, they understand each other's humor, and some of the sort of the same thing. I think Jonah said he's mixed race or something. Whereas for someone like Harrison, it might be difficult for him to understand because he is from Australia. One, he is a white man, so he might not understand some of the things that us as Black people understand. That makes sense, and that could be something that they have in common. But personally, I do not think Jonah is it. I think Jonah is Chaz clone, Chaz 2.0, and I think Jonah is going to play it smart until he finds the person that he really wants. For the time being, he's going to keep pushing with Destiny. That's my impression, and I'm sticking to it. Leo and Cassie are having a conversation about the recoupling and her speech, and they actually seem to be in a very good place. I am happy for them. I feel sorry for them at the same time because the producers are not done with them yet. Just because Anna's gone home doesn't mean that's the end of it. The producers are going to do a spin round and come back and make them toxic again. I have a feeling that's going to happen. Obviously, Bergie is happy that he's still in the villa. The guys are happy for him. And then you have Harrison walk into the bathroom when Destiny is there, and their greeting was actually very cordial. I think Harrison and Destiny must have taken each other aside when they realized that they recoupled, because there was a time Destiny was missing from the scene when the girls were packing Anna's case, and I have a feeling that they sat down, they said, this is where we are, what do we do? And they must have reached an agreement. I still maintain Harrison and Destiny have an agreement of, if we find we're settled in our new coupling, we'll tell each other and we'll move on. If we are not settled and we still want to come back, let us come back together. But then I really, there's a lot more context to this Destiny Harrison situation that I don't quite understand. I know people have made a mountain out of a molehill in regards to his comments that is made from time to time, but he's always maintained that he's brutally honest and he will say it as is. So to me personally, I take no offense to that, but I think there's a lot more going on, because that scene was quite cute, because even Harrison, when he said how she was there, you could see there was this awkwardness. And I don't know whether the awkwardness is because they've both agreed that we're going to detangle and actually give this our best shot and see whether it's something we want to explore, or if we want to stay in our coupling. Something is very awkward about them, but still Harrison has to stop and touch her, and he stops mid walk and sort of looks back, and I don't know whether it's because he stopped and he said something and the producers took it out, or whether this just happened spontaneously, because with Harrison's scenes it seems they're being over edited to meet whatever the producers are trying to do for him. So the islanders get ready for bed and the producers are messy. The fact that they put, okay, fine, already Emily was in a bed next to Harrison, but still the fact that now it's now Destiny and Jonah sleeping next to Emily and Harrison, that is the most awkward thing I've ever seen, given the fact that these two people were very intimate and very lovey-dovey just a couple of hours before that. And so you have Harrison standing there, sort of moisturizing himself before he goes to bed, and Jonah is hugging Destiny in bed to sort of say goodnight. And then Emily comes, she gets into bed, and Emily is doing the most. People are blaming Harrison. Harrison is going along with whatever Emily is dishing out, because Harrison said he likes the chase. Yes, he was kissing Emily, but Emily was doing more of the movement. The fact that she put her bottom in his crotch first and then turned around and kissed him doesn't make sense to me. She knows what she's doing. She really knows what she's doing. She's either physically attracted to him and is just after a good time, or I don't think she likes him as in a romantic sense. I think she likes the fact that he's good looking. I think she likes the fact that she has a chance with him and she's going to do anything and everything to get him. The fact that he woke up with a boner, a lot of men wake up with boners. They would have shown us. If they could show us when Kenan and KK were masturbating in the bedroom with everybody there, the producers would have shown us Harrison getting a boner and how he got it. But they didn't show us that, which makes me believe that he woke up with it, and now they're playing it out to make it seem like he's physically attracted to Emily, and that's why he's woken up with a boner. If he had woken up with a boner with Destiny, they would never have said anything. Harrison and Destiny would have just kept that under the duvet until it had gone away, because this is not something that they were very explicit about. They were very reserved in whatever they were doing in regards to their relationships. Yes, they were intimate, but there were certain things that they would not discuss. They would not discuss how many people Harrison had slept with. When it came to where she had sex, they sort of joked around about it. There were certain conversations they sort of skirted away from. So the fact that they've acknowledged this boner, the producers would have shown us. If they could show us Kenan humping the bed with KK in the hideaway, and they could show us the time that Marco was giving Hannah a handsy, and they showed us when Kenan and KK were giving each other handsies in the bedroom with everybody else, they would have shown us how Harrison got the boner. They would have shown us, definitely. And so for me, I do not buy that Emily is the reason why he has it, because they didn't show us the reason why he got it. They showed us the conversation of him being told that look for something bad, think of something bad so that it goes away, but they didn't show us where it came from. And I know men do wake up with boners, so it's not something new. It's not something that I would say, I know it seems like I defend Harrison a lot, but I don't put it down to Emily. So you have Emily having a chat with Carmen and Hannah saying, she feels very awkward. Before you come into the villa, you're saying you're going to go after whoever you want and you don't care how everybody else feels. And then suddenly you're with that person and you realize they're a nice person and you suddenly feel like crap. And then Marco is sort of asking, are you already off things? Do you still feel like you want to get to know Harrison? Do you still feel like you like him? And she said, yeah, he's very hot. I don't think she likes him for anything apart from the fact that he's good looking. That's my opinion. I think that's the only reason why she chose him. And I think they were very strategic. I've said this before in how they chose her and Jonah, because Jonah apparently lets it slip that he's interested in getting to know Emily. He wants to explore that. So, which makes me believe that the only reason why he chose Destiny was because he knew Destiny was in a couple with Harrison. So, he's going to bide his time and hope that Harrison and Destiny get back together. That way, he can couple up with Emily. And so for everybody out there screaming, oh, he's a better option, he's not, because he's made it known that the only reason why he's not going after Emily is because she's getting to know Harrison. If she was not getting to know Harrison, he would be in there. So for everyone saying, oh, Jonah is a better match, sit your bum somewhere, please. Because when Harrison made his intentions known about Destiny, he never went back for anybody else. I remember Carmen complaining that Harrison, makes it feel as though he's closed off. So the idea that he was closed off for almost 2 weeks. Jonah has barely been coupled up with Destiny for 48 hours and is already talking about exploring things with Emily. Make it make sense. Anyway, the islanders receive a text message. So with the Mr. and Mrs. Lover challenge, I think everybody did the best that they could because it was very slippery, so they were going to fall. It's nice to see how teams work. I think Destiny was always going to stick to her guns and always do her, so she wasn't inappropriate when it came to the kiss. She got a kiss on the cheek, and that was fine for her. Cassie and Leo, they are onto love, so they were very passionate. That was good. Kenan and KK, they're always passionate whenever they kiss. Hey, what do you expect? And Carmen and Kenzo. Carmen, I think, knows Kenzo because the way she's behaving with Kenzo is totally different to the way she's behaved with all the other guys that she's spoken to in the villa, which makes me believe that I think it's not just that they come from the same area, but they might have met before. Or maybe it's just somebody that she likes and somehow their spirits have aligned. So I wish her all the best. And then Bergie chose to go with Emily because he said she kissed him before, so that made sense. Hannah and Marco, they seem to work great because she's a teacher. I didn't know that. And then Harrison and Emily. Emily's doing too much. And I don't know why people are blaming Harrison. I blame him for his hand on her bum, but the fact that she jumped and straddled him and held his head in place, there was no way he was going to turn away from her. Had tables been turned and had he straddled her like that and held her in place and kissed her like that, people would be saying something. So I don't get why the focus is always on Harrison. So the island is going to groups and they're sort of discussing the challenge and how it went. Kenzo and Carmen won. And then Harrison is asked about the kiss and he scores it a 10 out of 10. I think he did this because he has to seem like he's in control because at the moment he's lost Destiny because she's now coupled up with Jonah and he's already pissed off at the fact that Jonah in the kitchen. Jonah was talking about wanting to explore a connection with Emily, and then suddenly, as soon as he saw Harrison was in ear range, he talked about Destiny pushing her bum into his groin, and that Harrison didn't like. You could see on his face he didn't like that, and I think this is why he pelted him with the water balloon. And so I think this is why when he was asked about the case, he wanted to claim, that even if you think you've got Destiny, I still have someone that I'm interested in that I think things are working with. Emily was always going to say it was amazing with Harrison because it seems she's got a crush on Harrison and because he's good looking, that's all she seems focused on, in my opinion. Although when she spoke about it, you could tell that Destiny wasn't happy. Well, she was uncomfortable. She was uncomfortable. I know she says, they don't know where things lie for them, but I think Harrison and Destiny need to sit down and have a conversation and find out because they must have had a conversation once they recoupled because they've both said they're open to giving these people a fair chance. But then what happens when the fair chance expires? Because I can see it expiring for Destiny because Jonah said he's interested in Emily, so he's going to make it a slow burn. Emily, I think, with time, is going to either go to Jonah or she's going to go to Kenan. So I can see it ending for Harrison as well. And I don't know if they're ever going to sit down and have a conversation or whether they're just giving each other a timeout and are in their feelings and trying to process exactly what's happened. I don't know. I wish they could hurry up and get back together, because I think they're a better functioning unit than anyone they have tried to mess themselves up with. You then have Carmen and Kenzo having a conversation about children. Carmen is a very different person when she's speaking to Kenzo. She's very different as compared to how she spoke to all the other guys she's been coupled up with. I don't know. Maybe she just likes him. I don't know. You then have Kenan and KK having a conversation about their coupling and what's the way forward. Obviously, Kenan says everything is going too good and he's worried that, there is something that he might be missing. And so it makes me wonder. He gives this boat analogy, and it makes me wonder because it sounds slightly similar to what Harrison was saying, and yet Harrison got more flack than Kenan, and it doesn't make sense to me. In the sense that Kenan is saying before he takes the boat out to sea, he wants to make sure that the boat is steady and there are no leaks that might drown it. He's worried that the relationship is too good to be true. He was worried that there might be something that he's not seeing that he needs to focus on. And so I don't know. I understand the boys being cautious, because I would rather somebody take time to know whether they want to fully commit before they lie to the girls and say to them, I want to commit to you, and then turn around and say, well, actually, I've changed my mind. So I think this is the best. I hope KK is paying attention and she keeps an eye out just to make sure that he's definitely genuine in whatever he's saying. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye everyone.